this is way too dark. I am not putting that on. Putting that on. Hopefully we can blend that out. I'm gonna look a little crazy on camera. Hola you guys, and welcome back. If you guys are new here, my name is Jasmine and I'm your favorite online creator, prima and amiga here. If you guys have never been here before, I share a little bit about business, mindset, and lifestyle. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe down below so we can keep growing our familia. We have already surpassed 500 family members. I always like to call you guys family members because I always feel like you guys really grew with me since the beginning, since I had one subscriber. Today I'm gonna be doing my makeup with you guys because you guys love when I just sit down and I chat with you guys and I do my makeup and I talk a little bit about my life. I was actually going to do a full basic look and I forgot my makeup in my car because we had to go drop off my car at the shop this morning. So I'm gonna use whatever I have. So this is gonna be really interesting because I don't have a lot. So we're gonna see how this makeup look turns out. Again, if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe down below so you can join the familia, and let's get on with the video. So today I am going to do, you know, a basic look, whatever I can come up with because I don't have a lot of makeup. So I do have concealer, so concealer should be able to save me. So I wanted to talk a little bit about like an end of year recap and just talk about how this year went. I think, you know, this year really taught me a lot about myself. I think it taught me a lot about things that you have to experience as you're going through your 20s. So we can talk a little bit about it. But for me, oh, I think this concealer is definitely going to work. This is going to be enough. So for me, one thing that I just learned as I'm 25, because you guys know I'm 25, is that for me this year, I really had to learn how to put myself first. And what I mean by that is not to go too much into business, but even going through my first dispute this year back in March, like it taught me that I didn't have a lot of boundaries for my business in place, which caused me to even go through that first dispute. And I think that even made me look at my business overall, because I always talk about how, you know, mind, body, spirit is connected. But it just reminded me and reinforced me that when you don't have boundaries in business, you're not going to have boundaries in your personal life. And even those little things where you don't have boundaries in your personal life, it overlaps into your business life, if that makes sense. And then before you know it, you end up in situations like that. So this year has really taught me a lot about boundaries. It has taught me a lot about changing my standards. I think for a long time, you know, especially as Latina or women of color, I talked about it before, is that sometimes we're so used to, you know, just getting whatever we can that we don't think about getting more than the minimum or more than just the basic, you know. And I think for me this year, it has taught me hopefully this concealer covers what I'm trying to cover. I know I look crazy on camera, y'all. But I think this year has just taught me a lot about having higher standards for yourself. You know, a lot of people, even with women, like we get criticized with, oh, you know, they're high maintenance or they're bougie or whatever. But I don't think it's a bad thing to have high standards, especially as a woman. Because again, the relationship you have with yourself is going to define every other relationship. And I take it back to, you know, the Hispanic community. I'm going to blend this out while I'm talking. I take it back to the Hispanic community. Like we grew up with a lot of machismo. We grew up with a lot of like, you know, not really speaking up about situations que no hablamos porque we didn't really talk about it. We didn't really grow up like that. And it does translate later in your life, you know. Higher standards that you have for yourself, the more that you're going to know how to be treated by other people. Another thing that I've learned, you know, as I'm 25 is also learning how to distance myself from people that I think I've talked about this a lot, you guys, on my channel. For me, one of the things I struggled with a lot was, you know, just distancing myself away from people in a way where I don't feel like I'm being selfish or I'm not feeling like I'm hurting anybody's feelings, because I'm not. At the same time, putting myself first. So that's something that I even had to tell myself, you know, with friends that, yeah, this is way too dark. I am not putting that on. I am not putting that on. Hopefully we can blend that out. I'm going to look a little crazy on camera. This is going to be a very interesting video, and you guys are probably going to come for me in the comments, but this is just going to be a makeup gone wrong video. But oh my god, this looks horrible. Pause. Back to what I was saying, I'm going to be trying to fix this makeup. But one thing I learned just in my 25s is learning how to let go of people. I think for me, that was something that I struggled with a lot was, you know, I didn't want to let go of people because necessarily I didn't think that they were a bad person. But I've learned that distancing yourself doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It just means that in that life or in that season or in that journey, en esa etapa de tu vida, they just don't belong. And I think that is definitely okay. And I think that's where people become unfocused because they try to do too many things to please other people or to be around people that have no similar goals to them. And what I mean by that is I've talked about this before, you guys, where, you know, I would have friends that I would invite to networking events, or I would have friends that I would invite to, you know, seminars, and they would never want to go. And, you know, at some point you're going to outgrow each other, and you just have to learn to let go of people. The thing that I learned in my 20s, I feel like this is what I've learned in my 20s, but this is really just so many things that I've learned this year was just so much clarity. I think just focusing on one thing at a time, because I think as humans, we naturally want to do like 100 million things. And I know that for myself, like, nunca me puedo quedar sentada por un minuto porque siempre quiero estar haciendo algo. Like, I'm always want to be working. I'm always on to the next idea. I'm always on to the next creative thing. And I think for me this year, it has just taught me that the more that you can like focus on one thing, it doesn't mean that you're limiting yourself to other things, but the more that you can focus and you can get really, really good at one skill, the more that you're going to become a pro at that. And then the more that you can have the discipline to learn other skills to the best of your ability. And I can only speak for myself, but I know for me, like, I would be learning a little bit of this, I would be learning a little bit of that. And then by the end of the day, you realize you don't know anything because you've been learning bits and pieces about a bunch of different things that you haven't really taken the time to sit down and study, if that makes sense. And another thing that I have really, really learned this year was learning how to pitch yourself to corporate companies. Again, not to go too much into the business aspect of it, but again, that's why I talk so much about mindset, because I think mindset, even, I feel like you guys are probably sick of me talking about this, but I think as Latinas or women of color, again, how we treat ourselves shows up in every other space. You know, the jobs we accept, the pay we accept, you know, how we show up in the workplace. It just accepts it. Oh my God, no puedo hablar. It affects everything. So for me, like I said, I feel like 2023 was just a year of, I think for me, like, let me know down below, what do you feel like 2023 taught you? Like, if you could say it in one sentence, what do you feel like 2023 taught you? And I think for me, 2023 just taught me to just, sometimes you just need to shut up and listen. I think, like, for me, that's something that I struggled with a lot, is I always want to be kind of like overcompensating and talking to prove to people how much I know. And it's just like, that's something that I've talked to my boyfriend about, where it's like, he always tells me all the time, tienes dos orejas y una boca por una razón. And it's true, you know? Sometimes you just have to learn how to listen. You have to learn how to listen, you guys. And I think for me, that was this year for me. Like, if there was one word that I could describe this whole year, it would be just sit down and listen. Okay, you guys, I think that is everything for today's video. I know I was supposed to do my makeup, and I really didn't do anything. The only thing I did was put foundation on for you guys. Makeup gone wrong edition, because clearly I don't have any makeup. But again, I think that makes it fun when we do kind of different things like this, and we just kind of experiment. We sit down and we talk and we kind of catch up. So again, if you guys like this video, don't forget to check out my other videos. I have another video for you guys on my YouTube channel where I dive into a Q&A and I answer all your juicy questions. So I will put it here down below somewhere so you guys can go check that one out. One thing that I wanted to start doing at the end of every video, you guys, if you guys leave a comment down below, I want to start shouting out someone that leaves a comment. So for this week, so for today's video, I want to shout out Gigi Cherry. I'm gonna leave her comment here so you guys can see it. But she said, more vlogs, please. I'm obsessed with your vlogs. Thank you so much, you guys, because that really means the world to me. I love when you guys leave comments so that way I can see what you guys like better. I always tell you guys, please leave a comment down below, because sometimes I don't know what you guys like. The only way I can tell is when you guys actually comment. You know, obviously I can see the likes, but it's not as interactive as the comments, and I like to know what you guys are thinking. I like to know your guys' opinions. So, but again, my name is Jasmine. If you guys have never been here before, I am your favorite Latina content creator and prima, and I'm always here for any support that you need, whether you need support in business and mindset and lifestyle. I'm your girl. Don't forget to subscribe so you can join the familia, and thank you so much for being here, you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, you guys.